They have been released then, after so long, the Epstein files. Or some of them, at least. This was Epstein's world, through files held for so long by the Justice Department, now unsealed. Or at least the first batch of them. Thousands of documents, about 4,000 in this first release. So our team has gone through them, and I'm going to split this up into several strands. The celebrities, the victims, the redactions.
So many Epstein files released today, and like we expected, most of them are redacted. And I guess at this point, they really think we're just this stupid, and we're going to accept this as a promise made and a promise kept. I won't. I never, ever will. I don't understand how the people who protect these names sleep at night. This administration, this justice system promised to be the most transparent in history. That's why they wanted to be elected. And obviously that was a massive lie. It is business as usual. It is protecting elites as usual. It is protecting interests as usual. And we need to be more upset about this. And we need to never, ever stop demanding the truth because the victims deserve it.
Well, welcome back to another episode of my social commentary. My name is Ransom Joseph. The DOJ finally dropped the Epstein file, but the internet is not happy. Thousands of documents were released, yet most key details were blacked out. What's in the file? What's being hidden? And why are the lawmakers furious? Let's break it down as we dive right into the video to see people's reactions and what people have to say concerning this. If you are coming across this video for the first time, please do us a favor by hitting the like button and subscribing to our channel. Tell us what you think about this video in the comment section. Like and share the video to help the channel out. And if you are coming across this video for the first time, don't forget to follow us for more interesting stories and content about what is happening in the country to pop up a screen. You're welcome.
So the government released the first portion of the Jeffrey Epstein files today, and just like we thought, they're so heavily redacted that they're not even readable. But at the same time, we also bombed Syria today. So there's that. Just like we've all suspected, it's so heavily redacted, it's a joke. Like, there is the only thing that's really come out that is kind of new are some pictures from Jeffrey Epstein's estate. There's some pictures with him and Bill Clinton, which we already knew. There's some pictures of Bill Clinton in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell, which we already knew. There's pictures of Michael Jackson at the estate and Michael Jackson on the plane, which is not shocking because we also already knew that Jeffrey Epstein was such a powerful man in his time that a slew of celebrities were always around him. At his house in New York, at his house in the island, at his parties. They did, however, forget to redact one thing, which I'm kind of shocked about. It is a sworn testimony of a 14-year-old about her experience with Jeffrey Epstein and her visit to Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump. It says, during one of Doe's encounters with Epstein, he took her to Mar-a-Lago where he introduced her to the owner, Donald J. Trump, introducing 14-year-old Doe to Donald Trump. Epstein elbowed Trump playfully, asking him, referring to Doe, "This is a good one, right?" Trump smiled and nodded in agreement. They both chuckled and Doe felt uncomfortable, but at the time she was too young to understand why. I'm waiting for people like Megyn Kelly to be like, well, 14 is like the barely legal type, because what else would Epstein be referring to that she's a good one? And why would a 14-year-old be with an old man to visit another old man who are both billionaires in the privacy of his estate? But fact that these files are so heavily redacted, it's like I'm blind. I was reading them trying to read them, and it's just a joke, bro. It's just a joke. This is what we thought they were going to be, and the fact that the government keeps playing in our faces. And what's also very peculiar is that the United States also sent a missile into Syria today. So it got me thinking, like, what is so detrimental about these files that the same day they're released, we bomb Syria? Like I said to you guys yesterday, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but shit is not adding up. It's not adding up.
The Epstein files have finally been released. Here's what we know about them so far. Hundreds of thousands of documents were uploaded to the US Department of Justice website on Friday. But hundreds of thousands of documents were not released by the deadline, which the Department of Justice says is to allow more time to protect the identities of victims. No context has been provided for any of the following images, and they do not imply any wrongdoing. These photos show former US President Bill Clinton in a hot tub and in a pool with Ghislaine Maxwell, Maxwell. This image appears to show former Prince Andrew Mountbatten Windsor laying on the laps of multiple de-identified women, with convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell standing behind them. Other images include pop stars Michael Jackson and Diana Ross alongside Bill Clinton, and another with Rolling Stones singer Mick Jagger sitting next to Maxwell, as well as Andrew Windsor's ex-wife, Duchess of York Sarah Ferguson. Another image shows billionaire Richard Branson standing next to Epstein, and actors Chris Tucker and Kevin Spacey appear in various images as well. One file includes documents from the Palm Beach Police Department's early investigation into Jeffrey Epstein. It details a call from a stepmother of a 14-year-old girl in March 2005 who alleges sexual abuse of the child on 2 occasions. Later in the report, the investigator writes, supposedly the man has a lot of money and often has young girls come over to his house. The man starts with a massage. If he likes them, he keeps them around and does more. Earlier today, President Trump refused questions at a press conference where he spoke about drug prices.
I think we have to just stop right here. I'll see you later if you'd like, but I don't want to be asking questions having to do with anything else.
Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna, who introduced the Epstein Files Transparency Act, said the partial release was disappointing.
But at this point, what we need is a clear timeline of when the rest of the documents will be released and an explanation for why they did not release all of them today. They owe the Congress and the American public an explanation for every redaction. That I didn't see published on the DOJ page, but the law is very clear that any redaction has to be justified in writing.
It's not yet clear how many files have been redacted. There is one court file that is 119 pages and completely blacked out. Again, this is only part of the files, and since the Department of Justice did not release everything by deadline, it means they are in breach of the law. The Democrats say that they're exploring all legal options, and that could include impeaching Attorney General Pam Bondi. ABC News will bring you more on these files as we thoroughly make our way through them.
They have been released then, after so long, the Epstein files, or some of them at least. This was Epstein's world, through files held for so long by the Justice Department, now unsealed, or at least the first batch of them. Thousands of documents, about 4,000 in this first release. So our team has gone through them, and I'm going to split this up into several strands. The celebrities, the victims, the redactions. The celebrities first. We know that Jeffrey Epstein socialized widely. His network spanned the arts, business, politics, royalty, high society. And so association with him does not equate to wrongdoing. There are images of him with Michael Jackson. He's also photographed with Diana Ross and former President Bill Clinton. He features a lot in this dump of images. His association with Epstein is well known, and he is on record expressing his regret at having ever known him. Clinton is photographed in the files with Kevin Spacey too. There's an image of Mick Jagger with Ghislaine Maxwell. None of these photos have any context to them. We don't know who took them or when they were taken. But remember, they are all part of the Epstein estate, seized over the years and sealed until now. Here's a picture of Sarah Ferguson, ex-wife, of course, of Andrew, formerly Prince Andrew, and he features too. This is an image of the former prince lying across several women. The only other person identified in this document is Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, we've cross-referenced this photo with other photos, and it was taken at the late Queen's Home, Sandringham, in the UK. Of course, Andrew was friends with Epstein and Maxwell. He settled financially out of court with Virginia Giuffre, who had accused him of sexual assault. He's always denied any wrongdoing. Let's focus now on the victims of Epstein and Maxwell's abuse and how their story can be told through these files. Here's an image of 2 young women, perhaps girls, we can't be sure, in Paris. Their identity has been hidden. The Department of Justice says it redacted more than 1,200 names or images of victims and their relatives. We know from existing testimony from victims like Virginia Giuffre that Epstein took girls he recruited on trips, including to Paris. They were often recruited with the promise that they would become masseuses, and this image here nods to that. But within these files, there are new court documents detailing how Epstein and Maxwell recruited their victims. Some of the documents are already in the public domain. This is evidence that formed part of the case of a victim identified only as Jane Doe 3. Message pads to convey missed messages for Epstein. They span 2004 and 2005. Two of them read, "I have a female for him." But there are redactions, so we don't know who left the messages or who wrote them down. Then there's this. It appears to be a sort of scrapbook, storybook, similar to the birthday book which was released a few months ago. It's heavily redacted, and it's very disturbing, to be honest. At the top here, "Once upon a time, there was a clueless little girl," it reads. Have a look at this too. It's an incident report from the Palm Beach Police Department. The common location for all the incidents detailed is 358 El Brio Way. That's Epstein's home. It names Epstein as one of 3 people arrested. The names of the other 2 have been redacted, and it's not clear why that decision was made. Over many pages, it then details the testimony of numerous victims, many of them labelled as juveniles. This file contains a number of redacted images of females. We can't say why the redactions have taken place. The rationale for the redactions is not clear in all circumstances with these documents, and that is a really big issue because there are so many black lines. Have a look at this document, grand jury testimony, and the whole thing, 119 pages. All of it is black. Now, some redactions are to protect victims, but are they all? With every black line, someone will cry cover up. And the conspiracy rumbles on. There are inconsistencies too. Here is a redaction, but then here, video of the same moment, and the hidden person is revealed to be academic Steven Pinker, who says he once travelled on Epstein's plane and had no relationship with him. Quite remarkably, there is a disclaimer at the top of the Department of Justice website saying that they might inadvertently have failed in places to redact information. And that hardly conveys a confidence of a job well done. There is no new mention of President Trump in this fresh batch of documents. The president, remember, says he disassociated himself from Epstein in the early 2000s. The Department of Justice has said that it will release thousands more documents.
So you guys, I just obtained the letter that the DOJ sent to Congress explaining what they're releasing in the Epstein files. When you see how they decided what to keep secret, you will immediately see the loophole that they created for themselves. Okay, so on November 19th, Trump signed the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which lists 9 categories of documents that have to be released. Flight logs, communications about who knew what, internal DOJ emails about charging decisions, immunity deals, etc. It allows 5 exceptions: victim information, child sexual abuse material, active investigations, images of death or injury, and classified information. That is it. So today, the DOJ releases their files and sends this letter to Congress, again, which I just obtained. Half of it is praising Trump and Pam Bondi and blaming Democratic administrations, like literally propaganda in a legal memo. So weird. But then I read their internal protocol. That's the instructions that they gave to 200 attorneys who reviewed the documents. And in step 3, they add 3 more categories that they can keep secret that are not in the law. Deliberative process privilege is 1, work product privilege is 2, and attorney-client privilege is 3. Their justification? Congress didn't explicitly say we can't use these old common law privileges, so we did. The whole point of passing a specific transparency law is to override normal secrecy rules. You don't need a law if you're just going to do what you always do. It's crazy. So what are they not releasing? Internal DOJ communications about charging decisions, attorney strategy documents, discussions between officials and lawyers. Those are exactly the documents that would show who knew what about Epstein, when they knew it, and why certain people were never charged. So this law said release everything except for these 5 things, and the DOJ just added 3 more things using century-old legal doctrines. Now, a spokesperson for Senate Judiciary Democrats just released a statement which said the Justice Department's failure to fully comply with the Epstein Files Transparency Act not only violates the law, it continues this administration's pattern of protecting President Trump and other perpetrators and perpetuating the ongoing Bondi-Patel cover-up at the expense of Epstein's survivors. You guys, this is wild. They passed a transparency law and the DOJ found a way around it. Share this so people understand what's missing from today's release and why.
The first batch of Epstein files has dropped. I'm going through it. And most of the actual documents that are legal filings, whatever, those are mostly redacted. Not a lot of information there. It's just blank. The boxes are white boxes blanked out. So we're not going to get a lot there. So I've moved on to the photos. Tons of photos. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of photos, and it's going to take a long time for everyone to go through this. But I can tell you one thing that I suspected all along that's been confirmed and we've heard about regarding Epstein was that he's got these rooms at his houses that are like the Bat Cave with monitors everywhere, and he's been recording things throughout his houses. There's photos of infrastructure of his houses, the wiring. You can see that it's completely wired with many multiple cameras throughout his houses. So this just kind of confirms that he was recording everything that was going on in his houses, in the rooms, whatever, and has footage of this somewhere or was sent somewhere. You can see that he had servers, hard drives, recording things, like stuff like that. So it looks like his operation of getting blackmail on the rich and powerful was indeed happening. This is proven through these photos of the infrastructure of his houses. There's dozens and dozens of photos with potential victims with their faces blacked out. I mean, those ones are hard to see because the girls were so young, and it's just incredibly difficult to see that. So I'm not going to describe much else of what I saw here because it's pretty bad, and I'm just starting to get through this, but I wanted to give you guys an update. So keep checking back for more. Make sure to follow, subscribe, like this video, comment what you think, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
We have breaking news right now. The first batch of the Epstein files have officially been released to the public. The Department of Justice has dropped a tranche of hundreds of thousands of documents to the general public. Here's what comes next. I'm going to review every single one of them. This doesn't take 5 minutes. It's going to take several hours over several days, and I will make periodic updates over the next several hours into the weekend and into next week. I'm also going to be providing you full recaps on my Substack linked in my bio. Remember, this is not the end. There are more documents that the DOJ has in its possession that it is refusing to release today in violation of the Epstein Files Transparency Act. There are hundreds of thousands of more documents in its possession. We are expecting to get those in the next several days, the next several weeks. Now is the time to release all the files. We got some today. I'll have more updates soon. Follow for more.
Welcome back, guys, and thank you for watching the video. I do really appreciate it. The US Department of Justice, DOJ, has begun publicly releasing the long-awaited Jeffrey Epstein file after Congress passed the Epstein File Transparency Act. The first batch includes thousands of documents, photos, flight logs, notes, and other materials, but many pages are heavily redacted or withheld, leading to online criticism. Lawmakers and victims advocate says that the DOJ failed to release everything by the deadline, sparkling accusation the administration might be hiding information. The files include photos involving Epstein, Jason Maxwell, and some high-profile people like Bill Clinton, but no new clear evidence of accomplice has been yet released. Some media reactions are all over the place. Some are celebrating the release, others are just criticizing the heavy reduction, the DOJ's delay, and political motives behind the handling of the file. I do appreciate you for watching the video, and like I said before, if you are just coming across my video for the first time, please do well to follow us for more interesting stories and content about what is happening in the country to popular scream. Tell us what you think about this particular video in the comment section. Like and share the video to help the channel out. You're welcome.